Hi everybody, and welcome to Watercolor in the Psalms with Pam. I feel like I'm a day behind, and I'm going to do Psalm 8 today. I'm going to be doing poppies. I'm going to tell you a little secret. I don't like poppies. I love them when it comes to the flower. They were my father-in-law's favorite flower, and I can still see them today in all their beauty and many different colors, actually. He didn't go with just a standard traditional reddish orange. But our verse today says, this is my sample I practiced. I've actually practiced a lot more than I thought I would for these poppies, so we're going to practice them together today. But the verse is, Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. I look at a poppy and I do think of majestic. So today, make sure you take a peek out your window if you're here in Michigan and it's cold and snowy, or bundle up and just go outside. Wherever you may be, take a picture and look at nature and just look at the beauty and the wonder of the things that God has made for us. It's just beautiful. Though it's winter, you'd say, why poppies? Why not? So today, the poppy, this is a simple poppy. It is hard. I think the only thing that makes it really feel like a poppy for me is the middle. And I'm hoping it turns out even better on our next one. Shut my book from the last time here. I did a little bit of pre-work. I liked the way this writing ended up. And other than majestic, I wanted it to be over. So I made all my lines even for all my fancy letters. We're going to do that after we do some painting. But I wanted to kind of know where my poppy was, so I actually kind of drew it out. And I'm hoping you can see that. I practiced, and if I had my scratch piece of paper here, I can show you here how I worked away on it. And I start with an oval. It's kind of how I plan the leaves, with an oval shape. So let's do an oval kind of here. And that's going to be above your words, okay? And I'm going to make this kind of an oval too. He's going to kind of be sitting on a oval shape there, all right? Then the first one I'm going to do at the top, I'm going to just kind of, I think he's kind of wobbly, to be honest. This one, if I bring it this way and bring it out a little bit, hopefully he looks like he's got a leaf out. And this one we're going to bring down and around. Now it's funny, I didn't get it quite far enough over. I really think poppies have more than just 4. But the lady and the artist that I followed, she called these a simple poppy, and they always had 4. And this last one, I'm going to kind of try to bring it up and around. Maybe down a little bit so that it, okay. Take my kneading eraser and get some of that off. And I'm apologizing because you're not going to see it then. I'm going to kind of draw the line. His stem is going to come down in a circle here, so it kind of goes around. But I'm going to have a second one come around up here to a bud, like we did on the other one, okay? And then we'll get a leaf in there too. So let's go to our colors. Our colors today are going to be Payne Gray, and the Payne's Gray is a dark blackish blue. And I like that over black just because I like it, but I may even add some black to it, even darker yet. Cadmium yellow. This is going to be a little different of a system that we try these poppies, so you're going to have fun with that. So we need cadmium yellow, or yellow, and yellow ochre. I'm going to pull my colors here. That yellow ochre is kind of a mustard color. Hard to tell. We're going to do olive green mixed with olive green. I didn't even know I had an olive green in this one. Oh yeah, I have an olive green. We're doing olive green and yellow. So some of the yellow, we're going to put a little yellow in with that olive green to make this a little lighter color. Scarlet red is the color we're going to do, a scarlet. It's right in here. We'll see that color. It's kind of this. Those of you who might have the Mozart pack, you could do the yellow number 17 and 3 yellow. I think 17. I was looking at that today. My yellow is gone. Let me just look here because I know there's a couple that use the Mozart one. And 17, I'm pretty sure, yeah. 17 was that red. It's a redder. It's more red. It's that bright fire engine red, I call it, kind of. It's not going to be the dark red we used before at Christmas. It's more of a fire engine red. Material, brushes. I'm going to use this number 8 round and probably my liner number 1. And of course our micron pen. And away we go. So to do this one today, I am going to do the flower first. The leaves. We're going to do these leaves, these petals. And grab my clean water here, and you can't see me. I noticed I was off the page on the last one. I'm really sorry. I forgot to spray these or whatever, and I'm just going to put a few drops of clean water in those colors. If you've seen my palette, you'd see that this Payne's Gray, I practically have used it all. Olive green is another one I use a lot of. Not real sure if I'm going to pick up another paint palette when these start to go gone. I did fill one of my yellows. I thought I'd show that. It's still settling in here. Got a lot of air bubbles. I don't know why, but I had some tube yellow I had bought in between because I kept running out of yellow in this palette. And this yellow was gone, so I just bought some catamine light yellow. Figured it's kind of a bright yellow to go with whatever I am painting. That's what we're going to use. All right, so, oh, that's right. It's going to keep my brush here in the water. The paint should be activated by now. And I'm just going to come here and swirl around a little bit and get some yellow. This is where I've had yellow before. And we're going to do the first petal. Basically, kind of make them a little wavy on top if you want. And take them in the color kind of that, in the order that you would bring your leaf down to that center. You don't want these to necessarily touch at this point. We might later. Right now, we're just going to fill these 2. I'm only going to do 2 of them. I'm going to go over here and rinse my brush in my dirty water. And I'm going to go then to my red, or scarlet in this case, and I'm going to just touch that in that wet yellow, letting that kind of work its way in there. I just kind of want it to, I want the yellow to kind of come through, to be honest. It didn't as much in my first one, but I really think it should. And that's why I want to make sure I do it wet on wet. I'm going to clean my brush. I don't have enough yellow yet here. Get a little more yellow. I'm going to do the next one. If you would happen to have the red still in your brush, it's not a big deal because, we're going to put the red over top of it anyway, but it's just nice to have it a little cleaner. And you can see I've kept these pretty wet. I want them to come as much as I can to that circle there in the middle. And clean my brush off. I'm going straight to that paint, and I don't know why I did that, because I normally would make a puddle here for us. I'm going to also tap back in to the other 2 again. So they start to go a little bit more. More here. And the object for me is to get it up there as best I can. I love the way these are working. I might even, just because it'll give some nice contrast, dab some of the dark up at the top here, just to give another color out there. And to be honest, I don't really like all the yellow showing, so if it doesn't get covered right away, this one here probably should have came over a little. I'm going to take that, I didn't plan on this, but I'm going to take that red that we have here, and I'm going to add, I have a color called Carmine, which is just a little darker, and I'm just going to add a little bit of that. It's a little pinker than I wanted, but I wanted that a little darker here yet, and to get that I had to add some more red. You could probably add red too, would have worked, but this is last minute thinking. And try and get that red to work its way up. I'm kind of liking that. I might touch here a little bit and then let them kind of, because that's where I'm going to put the flower together in a little while. So let's just let that do its thing. All right, while that's rusting and going where it's going to go, I think we're going to go to the leaves. And I lied to you. I'm going to use a number 3 brush, I think, to start. I've got to mix my paint first. So here's my olive. And some of that yellow. I want it just a little lighter than that dark olive. All right. Now, I don't know how many of you know this, but the poppy has a very furry look to it. So I'm going to really make this kind of a weird, not connecting good. And I'm going to kind of go back and forth a little bit so it looks like it's kind of bushy. I'm going to go back into the darker a little later and add a little more, but kind of make it just a kind of a rough stem. Now we're going to do the same on the one that comes along for our bud. And I'll bring him down here. He's going to just drop. All right, and there's where he's going. If you've ever seen the bud on a poppy, it does that have a lot of character. And we're just going to make lots of white space and just kind of fill it in like so. Maybe down just a little bit more. Okay, clean your brush and go into that orange color, that cadmium, the scarlet, that's what we had. And just put that in the end there for right now, okay? This is starting to dry nice up here, so I want to go into my scarlet again, a little heavier pigmented, and just start to work it up again. I want some more in there. Oh, that was way too close. I just dropped my paintbrush. I'll have to clean that up a minute. I just want that to, oops, we touched the other one a little bit more than I wanted. That's okay. All right, I gotta clean this mess up here a minute. Don't want my book to be, well, it's gonna be that. I could probably take some clean water and get rid of some of that, but again, this is my journal. If you make mistakes, you can try to pick it up. This is a pretty thick spot there. Anyway, so we've got that going. Remember, we took that next darker red in there, which was kind of a pink. I really think we should have done red, but you could add a little more to make that get a different color. You see I've got this red on my palette here. I might just drop that in there as well, because that red will be the right color family, and it will do some more bleeding up there. I really want that to. All right, now we'll go back to our green, and this time I want it to be a little more just the olive green, not so much yellow with it. I'm going to even switch to a smaller brush. And I'm hoping to make this a little darker here. My olive green go here. Okay. I want to get some darker in there. If you don't feel like it's dark enough, go right straight to the palette where it's wet and use that. Whatever works best. My palettes usually are pretty damp because I like to put water in there. And we're just going to add some dark so we have some more depth to our stem here. And especially we're going to add some dark in this bud. Some more little sticky out things are, I don't know what they're called. They do look like little pricker things. Best you can. All right, I'm liking that. Got to do a leaf. Their leaves are kind of jaggedy as well, so I've got the bigger brush here, and I'm going to go back to that same original olive green, and I'm going to put that right up here, I think. Just kind of want a line so when I doing him, it'll be easier. So I'm running out of this here. A little bit of that yellow. Gotta be careful, I don't want to contaminate my yellow completely, but all right, so here goes the leaf. We're gonna just start here and kind of make it go across and wider on that line. Might be touching the stem a little bit, and then we're going to take it back down like so. Now go back into the darker, straight dark, and maybe just add some of that dark so that hopefully it's still wet enough. It should bleed in there. I just want that bleeding look to just kind of give it some dimension. And there is your leaf. All right. We are now going to go into that Payne's Gray. And this is getting dry. I want to try to keep, I would have liked my circle to stay a little bigger, but it didn't. I'm just going to dab that in there. It may get into your wet paint. That's okay. Just kind of dab it around. We're going to let that kind of do its thing, okay? Because then, as that's spidering up, we're going to do a little trick. And I forgot to keep this out. I apologize. I have to move my camera just a bit here to get one out. I got a toothpick. Put that to your supplies, people. Toothpick. This is something I wanted to try. And we're going to see if we can pull them out. And I think you can if you keep your damp Payne's Gray. And you'll be able to pull out some of those little pieces that have to come up there. See what I mean? Isn't that cool? It starts to look more and more like a poppy. You could put little ends on it for right now. I'm going to let that be. And I'm going to go to our bursts. Because, oh, sorry. No, we've got to have some grass at the bottom. This just looks like it's sitting in nothing. So let's just put, got to move my page up, something for your poppy to sit in. Keep enough room for your date. Then get into the little darker maybe and try to get different colors. I might have to go all the way to the real dark and just dip it so the stems look like they're kind of down in the grass. There. Now you see the whole picture. We're going to do one more thing to that flower in a minute, but we're going to do our words. All right. I'm going with Lord, And I'm going to do it the narrower way if I can. I really like my R's to go lower, but we didn't. Lowered. And this one I'm going to do smaller. Not lowercase, still going to be uppercase, but I just want to write it smaller because I just want some contrast. Lord, our Lord. I'm going to take my how and I'm going to go in just a little bit. With the majestic, I told you I had a line, so we see all of them are going to be even. I'm going to try to go under that W because when it comes to is your, I don't want it to get caught in the J of the majestic like the last time did. So with my M's, I'm going to come down and I'm going to make the long tail down. I pick my pen up. Make sure I spell this right. And majestic. Should have picked it up with a C, but I didn't. Majestic. It fit. Wonderful. That was the longest of all of them. So we're in good shape. Try to make your is your name under the Lord. Same spot. Is your, came close, and then name is going to be here. Sorry, didn't talk. Name. And it's going to be, again, try to keep it kind of like a line. And that's where it looks a little bit off because of where the end, we might have gone in. Otherwise, if you prefer, put it in like your. That's up to you. I'm making some of these letters drop. Not sure I like the all that way, but that's the way it is. Since I did all the other ones, I'm going to keep them even and not go in. The earth. And this is a little T thing I like to do. So I only got the T part way. I am going to come over here and I'm going to cross my T. I'm going to make my loop for my H. The earth. Just something I like to do. Psalm 8, verse 1. And today is the 8th. January 8th. There. So our words are done. We can come back and erase that. Now let's do just some little final touches to that poppy. I think the poppy looks fantastic, but it doesn't have, in my book, anything that tells me what direction it's going. So I'm going to take my finer tip. This orangey color that we had on there is starting to get a little thicker. I'm going to use that, and I'm going to pull up like it's got some direction on the leaves. So we're going to come down in here, see if that helps make it feel a little bit like that. It's not real dark. Told you I'm not the expert when it comes to poppies, but I am pretty happy with this yet. I will say I'm not disappointed. I'm actually going straight into my wet because it's still wet. And there. I am going to, because I can, make this a little darker so it shades a little bit for some contrast there. I'm going to go into my darker green again. Going straight into the palette for it. And then I'm just going to come up here with it wet. Starting to dry up too. Come up the palette a little bit, up the petal, I mean. Ooh, don't put charm in your flower. Might be wet. And give it a little vein up the top. And push this up so you guys can see it good. And there is today's Poppy. I'm pretty happy with it. I think I like it better than the last one. I like the way it blended its colors in. There's one thing we could have maybe done, and I'm just going to do it because it's my journal. If you like it the way it is, leave it alone. We could come here, and I said I want to get rid of the yellow, but maybe it needed some yellow to have some accent. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments if you want. Did it need it or it didn't need it? You liked it the way it was? I don't know. Sometimes playing around with something is something you like. Sometimes it's not. I'm going to kind of make that blend in there a little bit more. I'm not sure one way or the other if I like it or I don't, but sometimes you just have to play with things to see, especially with a flower you haven't done a whole lot with and you're thinking, oh, I just can't seem to get it where I want it. Play with it. I keep encouraging you, this is your journal. Do whatever you want with it. I kind of like it, to be honest with you. I kind of like that yellow on the edges there. Is that realistic? I don't have a clue for sure, even though I know what a poppy looks like. But watercolor never seems to have the same effect as a real flower. So I kind of like it. Kind of like the colors on there and kind of like the extension in the yellow. Anyway, Psalm 8, verse 1. Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. Enjoy and have a great day. Thank you.